Hello, and welcome to my channel. It is the season of back to school. It is the season of absolute chaos, being so ungodly busy, and still trying to hit your weekly mileage goals. And that is something that I have struggled with over the course of my running journey. It's something that I have come to develop new solutions for over the course of my running journey. And it's something that I feel like is very hard to balance, which is when life gets busy, how do I make sure I'm still running? How do I keep my mileage the same or increase my mileage? Do whatever I need to do to stay on track, but also be time efficient about it and maintain my sanity. Because that's another thing about big mileage increases, is a lot of times when you increase your mileage a lot, you're just like, whew, I'm tired, especially when you have so many more things going on. Like, I know I do this time of year, I just have so much going on, and whenever I feel like I need to increase my mileage, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. But I wanted to share some tips and tricks with you today for some different ways that you can increase your mileage while not wasting on time and keeping yourself sane, because that is like the most important part. It's like you have to stay sane. I'm not going to be touching too much on different, like, what is a good amount of mileage increase and things like that. I will touch on like some cross training methods that don't directly contribute to mileage increase, but definitely contribute to, getting some good work in. But there are lots of amazing videos. I will link some in the description of some great videos that talk about how much you should increase your mileage, what are safe versus unsafe versus injury prone mileage increases. I am not going to touch on that, as I said, but I will link those all in the description down below. So with that being said, let's get right into it. And also, just so you know, these will all be geared towards high schoolers who, we go to school all day, then we go to practice, and then we take a nap. So the first idea I have for you, this is not going to apply to everyone, but for me it works amazing, is I am always running to and back from practice. So I am in school, and then we go to like a park for practice, and most people take the bus, but I figure you get a little extra mileage in just by running there. And then sometimes I run back so that I can get picked up at the high school. Sometimes I don't, it just kind of depends on the day. But it's a really great way that I add like about a mile to every day. It's not a lot, but it's those little changes that really like make a difference. Because if you're adding just a mile every day, that's 7 miles every week that you're adding. Maybe 6 because you have rest days and things. But it is just a good little increase to make. And also, to that point, if you have like my school, we get out at 2:45 and then practice starts at 3:30. So if you have some time in between, try to use that time, because it's really time efficient to try to get most of your like workouts and runs done like in one span of time. That way you don't have to, change in between and like switch gears and stuff, and you can kind of stay on the same wavelength for a while. So it's really great if you can use that time, and if you do have that time to use it, just doing something easy like going on a quick little run, going on a quick little shakeout, doing like some low impact workouts or body weight workouts. Sometimes I will do core before. We do like core workouts during my practices usually, but sometimes I'll do a core workout before just to, kind of get some extra training in. And then another great thing you can do in that time, if you have a little bit less time, is something like strides or some quick little high intensity intervals. If you have time to just throw in a quick 10-minute warm up and do some intervals before your practice starts, that's like such a great thing, and it can really help, especially if you're doing endurance work, to start or finish with speed work when you're doing endurance work. And that brings me to my next idea, which is to do things directly after practice. Like, literally go home and do something. Because I know mentally for me, if I go home and then I take a shower and I have a snack, I'm not putting my running clothes back on and going out and doing something else. So I always prefer to say, okay, the second I get home, I'm going out and I'm doing a shakeout. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. Focusing on small increases is really the thing that I want to hammer home here, because even half a mile a day is, a couple extra miles a week. So like being able to kind of make these small increases can be really great. Some ideas for what you can do after practice: if I didn't do core, sometimes I will do core, sometimes I'll do upper body. I always like don't do upper body, so sometimes I will try to like put a little bit in there. I feel like that's a whole runner thing where we never do upper body, but it's good to do sometimes. It can actually help because your arms are important, especially for me. My form in my arms is so terrible, but do something like that. Do again some quick high intensity interval training after endurance workout, doing like just a quick, like even 15 or 20-minute shakeout or easy cool down after you did like a workout in practice can be really, really great. The third thing is utilizing your meet days. So if you have an invitational that's like on a Saturday or on a Sunday, doing a second workout. And I know this is like the hardest for me. Well, it depends. Sometimes I am like revving my engine. I'm like, great, I just ran, great, let's go do a workout. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just ran and I want to take a nap. But doing doubles and double workouts on a day where you're having a meet is really great, because obviously your meet is a whole workout for you. And then going home, what I usually like to do, my favorite post-meet workout, I go out, I do like a 10-minute warm-up. You don't need to do a super long warm-up. You can probably even do like 5 minutes because you're already kind of, prepped from the meet. So I do like a 10-minute warm-up. Then I do 5 intervals, and my intervals are 30 seconds at a tempo pace, 20 seconds at a race pace, and 10 seconds at like a end of race, like sprint basically pace. And I'll do that like 5 to 7 times, and then I'll do a really long cool down. I'll do like 25 or 30-minute cool down. That's like my favorite, my go-to workout to do. I really like anything, again, with high intensity intervals. Either high intensity intervals or 1-to-1 intervals are my two favorite types of interval work to do after a race. It's really, really difficult to get a solid workout in anything that's greater than 1-to-1, where you have more work than you do recovery, because obviously you're going to be tired, both physically and mentally. So that's kind of what I prefer for those kinds of scenarios. But what I usually end up doing is I will have my meet on a Saturday morning, then I'll do a workout after, and then I'll do a super, super easy long run, like 6 to 9 miles on Sunday, like so easy. I am not ashamed to take these runs at like 11:30 pace, just whatever, like the easiest possible pace. And that's something that you see filtered down in all levels. Just look at some runners you admire in their Strava. They're taking their easy runs easy, and you should too. And building that distance kind of with more of a long run, but also keeping the pace super chill is like my go-to for a Sunday, or you could do it on your Saturday if you have Sunday meets. We don't have any Sunday meets at my school, but I know schools that do have Sunday meets. So I think this is my fourth suggestion, and this is a hard sell, but doing something low impact in the mornings before school. Again, this is going to depend, because I know some schools have morning practices. We start school super early, so we don't have morning practices because we'd be running in the dark. But doing something low impact, it is so hard, and I understand that, like, to get out of bed and do like move your body that early in the morning. But something super simple, I'll do like a workout medley or something. Like one of the things that I really actually do like to do in the mornings is a combo workout. I will do about a 10-minute warm-up, then I'll do 5 minutes of running. The pace depends on like where in the week I am, what kind of a day it is. You know, if it's a recovery day, it'll be an easy pace. If it's a workout day, it might be more of like a not quite to a tempo pace, but like, you know, a moderate pace. We're moving. And then I'll do about 10-minute warm up, 5 minutes of that, and then I will do 3 exercises. So I'll do core exercises, upper body exercises, lower body exercises, usually all body weight. I do most of my things in body weight unless it's a cross training day for me. When I'm mixing things with my running, I usually do body weight just because my legs are not that stable when I'm running and I don't want to like hurt myself. But I know a lot of people also incorporate weights into stuff like that. And I'll just repeat that same circuit with different exercises for like 20 to 30 minutes. So not a lot, but if you make a lot of small changes throughout your day, it will be a really significant increase and you will see your fitness getting a lot better and getting a lot stronger. And that's the thing that I really like to focus on, is making these small tweaks and small changes. And you need to, in the morning, stretch so much more than you do in the afternoon, because waking up, especially if yesterday was anything but a rest day, even if yesterday was a rest day, you will still be so tight. And like, you still, obviously, it's still really important to stretch in your afternoon and evening runs, but when you literally just got up and you haven't even gotten up and like walked around and like moved your body in any capacity. So in the morning, if you're going to do something like literally wake up, put workout clothes on and go, you need to stretch so much more than you think. The amount of times that I have like done my normal stretching routine in the morning and just been like, this is not enough, like I need to do more, it's like insane, because I feel like so much tighter sometimes in the morning and you just need to get it all out before you go off and do your run or what you may have. And then the fifth and final thing is cross training. I know this technically doesn't increase your mileage, but it's a great way to make sure you're staying sane. A lot of the things that I was talking about were not necessarily just running, were things like doing core exercises, doing lower body exercises. Things like that can be really great because they don't drain you mentally as much unless you're doing a lot of them. Biking is another great option if you're not at the point where you can go out and do a workout or do a run after like a meet or something. It could be great to get in a couple solid miles of biking. That's one of my go-tos if it's been a really difficult meet and I just am absolutely not up to any type of running. I'll just hop on the bike for 45 minutes to an hour. And, you know, you're just getting yourself moving, you're kind of improving your endurance, and you're setting the precedent for yourself, which I feel like is really important, that we're going to do hard things, and then we're going to do more hard things, and that's just how it's going to be. Because that's something that I'm also really big on, is you have to set a precedent for yourself and say, this was hard, but this is not an excuse. We're not making excuses. We're going to finish this. I don't care about whatever else may be happening. We finish this, we show up from start to finish. And that's something that's really important to my mindset and just how I'm able to make myself do extra things even when I really mentally do not want to. Although you can just ask my coach, it does get annoying to a point. Actually, I just had an example of this yesterday because he was like, we're almost out of time. You don't have to do the last interval of this workout. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. You can leave if you want, but I need to finish this workout because in my head, it's just like, that's my precedent. We don't not finish things. You always finish it. And obviously there's exceptions to that. If you actually have an injury, I'm talking about normal things. I have never in my life had, I shouldn't even say that. I should knock on wood so hard. I have never in my life had a training related or any kind of like injury like that. The only like injuries, quote unquote, I've had is stuff that's chronic and pre-existing. Like, I've never had an injury like that, so it just doesn't even come to mind. But I know that there's people who are super injury prone who that mindset just doesn't work for. So you do need to be mindful of that. But having some sort of mindset or ideal that you set for yourself can be really helpful when you're trying to make these little changes, because sometimes little changes can genuinely be very tough to make. But I hope that these were some good ideas. I hope that these help you to increase your mileage, increase your training, get fitter, get faster, train for whatever you may be training for. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye!